Hello and welcome to Knit, Design, Edit, Sleep, Repeat with Lisa Conway, Denise Finley, and Tiffany Wooten. Let's listen in and see what's happening, who's happening, and what's new in their world.
Please join Tiffany and Denise as they talk with Trish Hernacki, knit designer from Indiana.
Well, good morning, Miss Sparkle Coordinator. How are you?
Well, it's not morning here, sweetie, but it is afternoon. I'm
well,
good.
It's not morning here either, but I say morning all the time. So
it's a horrible, icky, humid, non-Portland-like day. It's muggy.
Oh, so you have my weather.
Yes, and you can take it back, okay? I don't want it.
We actually had 90 degrees something 2 days this week. We don't know what to do with ourselves. Like everything has been triple digits for the last 3 weeks, and we actually walked outside and went, relief.
See, and we have 90s, and we're like, oh my God, this is so hot. So
that sounds accurate.
All right. Okay.
Well, welcome back aboard the Chaos Train to our wonderful listeners. Lisa's still out for a little while. I know we both talked to her this week. I talked to her. She looked great. She was, restless, ready to get back to work, ready to do all the things. So she appreciates all of the love and support. Please keep sending it to her because,
And I've talked to Lisa a couple of times, at least 3 or 4 times this week. And every time I spoke to her, she looked better each time. Brighter. She seemed more, excited about things.
Her color was great, and her
excellent.
She was very energetic when I talked to her the other night,
and very upbeat about getting ready to go to therapy and getting all things done, and happy, kind of chomping at the bit to get back doing this, but.
Yeah, she's very much ready to get back into the swing of things. But until then, y'all are still stuck on the chaos train. So buckle up your seatbelts, put your tray tables in your upright positions, and hold on tight, buttercups, because we're getting ready to go.
That's right.
So today is an interview, and we have the lovely Miss Trish with us. Trish, I'm not even going to try and pronounce your last name. I should have gotten clarification, but I'm going to screw it up. So
it's Hernacki. It is Polish in origin. You're not the first one to.
I'm not, and I won't be the last one either. So Trish Hernacki, there you go, y'all.
Yeah, welcome.
She's an optometrist by day and a knit and crochet designer by nights and on the weekends, just like most of the rest of us. She brings 20/20 visions to your yarn craft, and she has a special passion for size inclusive. She makes me so happy with those words.
Me too.
Engaging garment designs. My apologies, y'all. I can't read today. She's based in Indiana. She resides with her 3 rescue dogs that she was filling us in on. They're full of energy. She enjoys lifting weights in her spare time. And we will apologize now if the dogs decide to be mom's vocal moral support. So they're playing with their own little chewies right now. So hopefully they'll be good.
Just a little bit of real life. Correct.
Yeah. So Miss Denise is actually the connection here with Trish, and I'm going to turn it over to her so she can give y'all the personal, whereas I just read the paper.
Well, I don't know too much personal, but it's a funny story that starts a couple of years ago, actually, or last year. I can't remember. We were on another site.
I'm not sure. It was sometime.
It was a year and a half ago, baby.
Yeah. It was sometime during the pandemic.
Yes, exactly. Because we were all meeting on a Zoom, doing a knit group thing on a Zoom, and you were, looking for some outlet to knit and some groups and stuff. And
I had just learned that there was knitting wasn't something that people just do in their house by themselves while they watch TV. I had no idea that there was other people that actually knitted with each other.
Right.
There was a community. I didn't know that.
Well, it's a great thing to find, isn't it? It's so exciting when you find other people.
You don't feel like such a odd man out kind of thing, right? But I am going to put a little, just a minute. Let me do this. I'm going to put a little plug in for Keenan, who is kind of my mentor / hero / a lot of other things. Keenan runs Knitting Bartender on Facebook and a couple of other places, Instagram. He has a lot of things going on. He's done some videos for Michaels and a couple other big name places. But he was doing the Zoom, and he had big rooms, and you're only in it for 30 minutes or 20 minutes, and then you're changed into another room, and you're hello, new
It
people.
was so much fun.
Right, I loved it. But I injured my back shortly after I connected you with my friend that lives in Columbus, Indiana, Sue, and I couldn't sit. I was literally in tears for 2 months. Had a really bad back injury, so I wasn't connected to that anymore, and my life just took a turn. And I'm just so glad that you found a group of people to knit that have skin on, not just a picture on the screen.
And the once Keenan took those acting gigs, the group kind of fell apart. Well, and good for him. He's got some good work going. So,
yes.
because I know that was a huge struggle for him during the pandemic, because he
really
had lost
struggling.
his job.
Yeah.
So he's got this new thing going on, and that's really, really great for him.
Yep.
But yeah, I met Denise in one of the rooms. And our mutual friend Sue happened to also be in the room, and we were all kind of going around the circle saying where we were from. And Sue said she's in Columbus, Indiana. I'm like, hold the phone. I'm in Columbus, Indiana.
Are you sure Columbus, Indiana? Not Ohio.
I mean, look, it really is a small world, and it's so crazy when you get to see how small it is.
Yes, yeah. So I now that Sue's group meets at our local Panera on Friday nights, and then a couple other nights a week, but Friday nights are the night that I usually go. And we all knit together at Panera and have dinner, and it's wonderful.
Isn't that cool?
It sounds like an amazing way to spend a Friday night. I'm not gonna lie, like
Right?
I'm
Yeah.
jealous.
I know.
about
Oh,
that.
I am too. So jealous. I wish I lived back in the
Absolutely.
Midwest. I'm out here stranded where nobody goes anywhere or does anything because they're terrified of everything. But that's just my opinion. So anyway, let me ask you a quick question, and I'll let you take this for as long as you want to. We have about an hour, and we have several other questions. But to begin with, Trish, we would love to hear your design story. Like, when and why did you start designing?
Okay. And that's a question I get a lot, because obviously I have a career. I'm an optometrist, and
Right.
I'm actually as of right now working extra hours because we lost a doctor at my office. So I'm now seeing 2 doctors worth of patients. Yay.
Mercy.
Oh God, bless you. You're amazing.
And yeah, it's a little bit rough right now, but I'm hoping it's going to be short-lived. So a lot of people wonder, like, why did you take that on? I mean, don't you have enough going on in your life? Well, yes and no. So I've always had, ever since I was a kid, I've always had a creative side, even though I've been very, as far as everything else I do, is very scientific minded, very left brained.
Right.
But I've always had a passion for arts and crafts and creativity. I mean, from friendship bracelets to latch hooking to I did all the things when I was a kid, all the things. And when I got into my higher education, college and optometry school, I kind of lost touch with that side of me because I didn't have time anymore.
Same, exactly.
Look, it's amazing how higher education just like sucks all of your time.
That and kids.
And you're either in school or you're at home sleeping.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, or eating.
Yeah.
If you can.
See, I
in the
was
car.
notorious for eating while I was studying, so
Yes, yeah. So, I mean, gosh, yeah, it was stressful enough. I remember one day I left my coffee on the hood of my car when I went to walk to class, and I started crying when I got back and saw it there.
I did that. Actually, no, mine wasn't in the car. I left mine in the car. But yeah, like you run on so much caffeine in school that you just like when you don't have it, you fall apart. You're just like, I don't know what to do with life now.
Absolutely.
Like it's so
I actually got a rash from stress. I went to the health center and everything, and I got a rash from stress.
I had 2 kids and a cranky father, so I mean, does that work?
Yeah.
Bless you for doing that too.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh man, yeah.
So
once I finally
had you always been a knitter?
Go ahead. No,
okay,
not at all. So once I got to my 4th year of optometry school, it's entirely clinical based. So I was out of the classroom. I wasn't having to study for tests. I mean, boards, but that was more casual study on your own time kind of thing. but I all of a sudden had this free time again. And I was like, well, I could just binge eat while I binge watch and then not fit into any of my clothes anymore. Or I could actually find something productive to do with my time.
Oh, that's cool.
And so at that point in time, I didn't do any yarn, anything, and I ended up teaching myself how to crochet.
I love it.
And so I taught myself a couple stitches, and I'm one of those people when I end up finding a skill I love, I just get so absorbed in it that I want to learn everything, do everything about it.
Rabbit hole.
And I've never been someone who's a pattern follower. Never, ever. Like recipes, for example, when I cook, I never follow the recipe. I use the recipe as a guideline, but then
Right.
I always take it and I add my own little twist to it to make it mine.
Wow.
I always experimented, even from high school. I date that back to trying to make a pancake with the syrup in the batter.
Cool. And then McDonald's went and did it, right? McGriddles.
Well, yeah, and the ones that I did not turn out well. They tasted okay, but they looked like one of those elderly ladies that spends way too much time in the tanning bed.
Oh no. Did it taste good though? Did it taste good? That's the question.
It tasted good, just as long as you didn't look at it.
I mean, look, tasting is the important part right there. Like, let's just be clear.
It just looked like this wrinkly, leathery.
That's funny.
So you started off with crochet.
Yes, and so actually within the first few months I started crocheting, I needed a thing to put my tools in, so I designed my own case, little rolly case with a
tie on it,
with pockets and everything. I did it I designed it myself.
I like it.
It was completely custom to me. By my second year, I put together I melded two different patterns for a pair of glittens.
A pair of what?
Glittens. So
glittens.
Those are the fingerless gloves.
Yeah.
Okay,
I got you.
Thing.
The mitt and glove combination thing. I got you.
And I combined two patterns to make those, and that was actually my first taste of good quality yarn as well. That was my first I bought some Malabrigo and made that.
Oh, and you were hooked. Like, that's a good one to start with.
It is,
yes.
right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so then I would go on Pinterest. I hadn't discovered Ravelry yet. But I would find all these patterns and I'd be like, gosh dang it, that's a knit pattern. Shoot. I don't know how to do that.
That's the story of my life. That's part of how I got into it too.
Yeah, so what did you do?
Dang it! Why is it knit?
Why is it knit? I want to do this. It's so cute.
So what did you end up doing?
Eventually, I made a couple attempts to teach myself, and it was epic fail. Epic fail.
Oh.
But that's not the end of that story.
Okay.
I ended up deciding on one Saturday afternoon to get back to it when I was scrolling on Pinterest, and I came across this blog. And this is a plug for any crocheter who's struggling to learn how to knit.
Oh, here we go. Let's go, because we need all the tips, because I am a baby knitter, so I will take it.
Perfect. Okay, so this is by Mama in a Stitch.
Write
the
that down,
blog was titled very simply, "How to Knit If You're a Crocheter."
Well, piece of cake.
I like it.
And I read it and I watched the videos, and suddenly I'm like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense.
She spoke your language. Good for that.
And wow. I picked up the little needle kit that I had bought at Joann's, and I started playing. And then this dum-dum decided to knit her very first scarf in fingering weight yarn.
Of course you did.
Why did I do that? Don't ask. It was all stockinette.
Oh my!
So
I could answer that for you. Lack of knowledge would be my guess, because it's pretty and
it was pretty. It was soft. It was this really teeny tiny yarn. I'm like, why did I do this to myself?
It's pretty. It's soft, and you don't know any better until you get into it, and then you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah. Now I look back, I'm like, that was a terrible decision. But you know what? You can see when I started that scarf how messy the stitches were, but by the time I finished it, the stitches were gorgeous. I had my knits and my pearls
fun.
down.
That's the fun thing about pieces like that is where you can see your progression and you can see how it just starts clicking with you.
Yes.
But do you still have that scarf?
I do.
Yay! I love those stories.
Do you use it?
Not really, because it's not
Not
very
really.
big. It's not a very big scarf, and if I'm gonna make a scarf, I like those big old squishy things that I can
Yes.
like
Yeah.
that
Yeah, the
I
big
treat
old
as a
hide
giant hug.
inside, and yeah, I can get down with that.
Yeah, it's a little small, but I do still have it. I do still keep it as a fond memory. And this
Hey, you
was
know what? That's the progress and the reminder of how far you've come.
well, and how far I've come in a very short time. Because guess what year that was?
Oh, short
2019.
time? Well, let's go with 17.
2019.
19.
What year?
2019.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I was off.
Yeah. So that was just
Cool.
2019. So that was only a few years ago. And then, of course, like the second I finished that scarf, I had found my real yarn love.
Cool.
Crochet will always be my first love, but knitting is my true love.
When
Yeah,
when
that's
did you
accurate.
do that headband that has the little barbell thing on it or whatever it is?
Yes.
I love
Yes.
that.
So that was the beginning of 2021. That was my very first design. So
Was it?
that was a whole big learning experience for me because as an optometrist, I don't really know a lot about business at all.
Mm.
I know
That's
how
fair.
to treat
really
eye
is.
diseases and diagnose and prescribe glasses and contacts. That's my
Right.
jam.
Yeah. Pretty basic.
And I live in a small town that had a very well established patient base, so I never once had to advertise to fill my schedule.
Oh wow.
I like it.
Wow.
So I know absolutely nothing about any of the like traditional business.
Yeah, that sounds accurate. I'm in that boat too. I'm just like, what am I supposed to do?
See, and I've had my
Oh
own
my
business
gosh.
since my 20s and ran a county and did a bunch of stuff like that. So I know all about that kind of
I'm
stuff.
learning as I go. So yeah.
And that's exactly how it was. I knew nothing about anything knitting, and that was right after I first even entered into found out there was a knitting community.
Oh wow.
So it was a huge, like, I started my knitting Instagram with 0 followers and
How many do you have now?
grew it from there. I have almost 500.
Look at you.
So for
That's
just
awesome.
over a year, that's pretty good
That's
growth.
pretty amazing
Hi,
for
Teddy.
That's
just a
huge,
year.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge.
Oh look.
Teddy is coming to say hello.
Hi baby.
Hello, puppy. We have the video on, y'all, so I'm sorry you don't get to see her adorable puppy come up and give moral support to mom. But, you know,
so
we can describe the beautiful black and tan that is loving on mom and just wants all the attention.
She's a Belgian Malinois mix. She's 1 year old.
Yes, there you go.
she's so pretty.
And she is
So,
very,
well, that's
very
cool. So
sweet.
you've actually just like you hit the rabbit hole hard.
Yes.
And
Yes.
didn't just learn the yarn and learn the skills.
Oh my gosh.
You went yarn skills and designing.
So just like crocheting, the next logical step after I learned how to knit was to gain all the knowledge and I had so many friends tell me, like, you are so good at this, you should really do your own stuff. And I had 1,000 ideas in my head just ready to jump out. And
I love supportive friends. So cheers to them.
And those friends were like, yeah, you should totally do that. And I'm like, okay, cool. So do I just make something and write the pattern and then put it in Ravelry and all of a sudden the world knows about me? Is that how that works?
That's how it feels like it should work, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
if only.
And wouldn't it be nice though?
Oh, it'd be fantastic. Do you know how many of us would be like over the moon if it actually worked like that?
Yeah. So that's when I ended up getting into these knitting Facebook groups, and I actually started testing patterns because that's where I learned about tech editing. And that's where I ended up meeting fiber friends, is through test knitting. And that was also a great way to figure out what my pattern writing style was like, what I liked, what I didn't like.
Yes.
So when was it?
Huge. Like, trying to find your own style is so hard. So I commend you on finding a way to learn that without putting your head through the wall. Because we're coming back to the whole testing and tech editing thing again, Denise.
Yes,
I know.
And then it's something that's still evolving. I'm still working on it. I'm still learning it because
you're always going to be evolving. You're always going to be evolving. You're going to get settled, and then there's going to be some point in time you're just going to be like, I think it's time to start doing something else.
Right. Or I'll see something in someone else's pattern. I'm like, this is genius.
Mhm,
Why am I
right.
not doing it this way?
So when
100%.
did you finally jump off the leap the whatever
When I
and use a
finally
tech
hit
editor?
publish.
Yeah.
Oh, so I used a tech editor for my very first pattern.
Did you? Good
Nice.
for you.
Yes, I'm one
Everybody
of
You
those-
make my
listen.
tech editing heart happy.
Yes.
I was one of those people that like I wanted to. I went and asked all the questions. I'm like, who can tell me like what are the steps I need to take before I can publish a
Right.
pattern?
Good
Right.
for you. Good for you. Because there's so many
That's
out there that
amazing.
wait around for a while because they're afraid to take that leap and call that tech editor, and they're
They
afraid
are.
it's going to cost a gazillion dollars. And we're just,
They
they're just
are.
people, and it's something
Right.
that if you don't do it, a lot of people won't invest in your patterns.
Absolutely, and I ended up using I think I tried to get on the tech editor hub, but I
Mhm.
think that was when they were going through their transitional period. So
Yeah,
like
they've just done a
my
huge
request to
transition.
join didn't, it just like got sat on for several months.
Oh my. Wow. Yeah.
But that's all changed. That's different now. It's very active group now.
They've had a huge transition through all of that. So yeah, that's
Super.
good.
Yes, I just caught him at a bad time.
Yeah.
I mean, look, unfortunately, that timing happens, and
it does.
sucks.
There's nothing you can do about it. So
Yeah.
I ended up using I think it was an Instagram hashtag Facebook's or hashtag search
Mhm.
to find that tech editor.
Oh, good.
I actually don't work with that particular tech editor anymore.
Okay.
I think she my style and her just didn't end up ultimately meshing.
Mhm.
You have to gel with your person. You
But
really
she
do.
but
and
Yes.
that-
she filled a need that you had at the time, right?
She did.
Okay.
and that's an important thing, and hopefully she was able to assist, and maybe
Yes.
you learned something from her.
100%.
Beyond-
Absolutely.
Beyond the I need to gel with my person.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was a wonderful experience. It was a great jumping off point.
Mhm,
Good.
mhm. Good.
So I believe that would have been February of 2021 is when I finally hit that first publish button. So
Nice.
I've
So
been in
That's-
for about a year and a half.
That's
like
exciting.
it. I like it.
I
So
love to hear about the new
still consider
ones.
myself fledgling, but
Hey, you know what? But fledglings have great ideas too, and that's all that matters. Is as long as it fuels your spark, fledgling or not, you had the audacity is not the right word, but the bravery to hit the publish button and put yourself out there. Because I've actually talked to a couple of my beginners, and they were like, it takes so much just to hit the button.
it was super scary.
And that's part of and this is going to be something that I do. I don't think Lisa does. Well, Lisa started doing it, but I celebrate my designers when they actually hit publish, because it's a huge deal. Like you put
Yeah.
all this work and all this thought and all this love and all this creativity, and then you take all of the constructive feedback, whether it's from me or testers or whomever, and you finally hit the publish button. And I'm behind on my celebrations at this point in time, but I celebrate the crap out of my designers, because
That's wonderful.
That's
it
fun.
does. You guys deserve to be celebrated for being brave and hitting the publish button and putting that little piece of your bid, that little piece
Right.
of you out there.
Because I know they tell us not to take sales or not to take that kind of stuff personally, but still it's hard not to. Like this is something that I created.
Right.
Why
It
don't
is.
you like it?
Exactly. Why did I not? Yeah. Why did I not appeal to you?
Yep.
Yeah, like this is me showing you my bare naked heart.
Right. Creation
So in
is
the
like that.
last year and a half, how many patterns have you published to date?
So as of right now, I have 6. Now,
Nice.
Right.
and again, this will actually so my journey's been a little bit what you might call slower paced, and again, that's because I have a full-time job.
I was going to say, you have a career, so
I have
you're
a
allowed to
career.
be slow.
I have to pay off my student loan somehow. So
That.
Right.
so
You have to fulfill the right brain and the left brain, and I love that you recognize that, and
Yes.
it's valid.
Yes. So and I don't exactly have one of those jobs where I'm on conference calls and I can just knit all day.
Yeah.
I am
a lot of
active,
contact.
seeing
Yeah.
patients. If I get lucky, I get bathroom break and snack time at my job. So
Ugh.
Unfortunately, that's valid, especially if you're seeing 2 doctors worth of patients. So,
right,
yeah.
right, yeah. So So it's not one of those jobs where I have downtime at all. So when I'm at work, I'm at work.
Oh yeah.
Occasionally I get a chance to answer an email, but so I really only have, even when I wasn't seeing 2 doctors worth of patients, I really at best have, on a really good week, 15 hours to dedicate to this.
So do
my
you
knit
sleep?
design.
No, that's
I do.
the problem.
I do.
I
And
mean,
I'm
it
really,
seems like she doesn't, right? She sounds like Superwoman with everything
Right?
she's doing.
I'm really, really insistent about getting my 8 hours too.
No, good for
Good.
you. Good for you. My body.
Self-care is a thing.
Yes, it is. It is. Just a quick
Sleep is
question.
one of my self-cares.
Quick little question before Tiffany goes into a couple for you. I'm
Yes.
very interested in the name of your business. How did you come on that name?
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. So, and that's a question I get a lot.
Cool.
I was going to throw that one in towards the end. So yes, I'm glad you brought that one up the top.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Go Denise.
my knitting alias is Fiber Optics Knits, and that is fiber with a PH. So my full name is Patricia Hernacki.
Oh, there
so
you
PH
go.
are my initials.
Look at that.
PH for you. I like
And
it.
then optics,
I like
of course, for the
Optics for the
eye,
for the
eye stuff, of
optometrist.
course.
Yeah. That's
That
actually
is-
a really good way to pay homage to your entire being
Yeah.
and your entire life.
Your left
and
brain and your
I
right brain.
really like that.
Yes.
Yes, I really like that.
I had
Brava.
a friend of mine who I work out with at my gym, and knits. I have to give her credit for coming up with at least the fiber optics part, and I'm the one that changed the PH
Oh, that is
I
so
to make
cool.
it my own. So
That
but
is
it's
very
an excellent
cool. Thing.
suggestion.
You know, funny. I thought you just changed it to PH because you didn't want people to think you were like dyeing roving or just into spinning or
Right.
something. That's
Nope,
even
those are my
that's more
initials.
special. I love it.
That's
I love
even
it.
better. I like that.
Perfect. Okay, Tiff.
Fabulous. Brava. All right. So who do you actually design for?
So a lot of us designers, we're told to pick our ideal customer. So
Mhm.
I will say without a doubt, most designers, we have ourselves in the back of our minds as our
Truth.
ideal customer. So the reason I got into developed a passion for garment design, especially garment designs that fit all bodies, is because I am a petite individual, but because I lift weights, my shoulders are big.
Okay.
And I have a really hard time. Like, I have to, for my scrubs, I have to buy women's pants, but men's tops.
Oh my.
That sounds an accurate problem that a lot of people have.
I have the opposite
So-
shape problems.
So do I.
Yes, and I understand that I'm not alone, that I have problems finding things that fit me
Yeah.
Right.
because my body
One of my
is not
girlfriends,
a
she'll tell you she's got the shoulders of a linebacker.
yeah, my
I have a
body is
friend
not
like
the
that.
shape. I am shaped. My upper body is shaped like an upside down triangle.
Yeah. Like like an
so-
athlete.
Yep, like an athlete. So
Well, and you know what? You lift, and that's a valid thing, and
and so I wanted to use that as my passion for what I design.
Your why. I like
wanted to design things that not only fit me, but that can be customized to fit other bodies.
Gorgeous. Yeah, and that's a lot of. I like hearing the why as to why people design, especially with garments and when they go into the size inclusive thing. Because
Yeah.
and actually that's an interesting point, because a lot of people, when we say size inclusive, we think of people like Denise and I, where we're on the higher end and that more size inclusive. But unfortunately the petite frames, especially with the odder shapes. I don't
Right.
want to say that
We
you're
kind of
wrong,
get
that
forgotten
it's
about in
wrong
that
or odd or
conversation.
whatever, but
Differently shaped.
We get forgotten
differently
about in
shaped.
that conversation.
correct. Yeah, it's definitely the differently shaped. That's a better way to put it for sure. But the differently shaped for the petite end is definitely something that's overlooked. So I like that.
Absolutely.
like
Yeah,
that thought.
because just because other parts of me petite doesn't mean the rest of me is. So
Truth.
So
Yeah,
let's tie it into tech editing here a little bit and what this show is kind of
Mhm.
about at times. So you also have your tech editor do the grading, because like
no,
when you say
I
size,
do my own grading.
You do your own
I
grading? Oh my
do.
goodness, you're amazing.
you're a math person. Oh, Wow.
I
She really,
am.
well, I mean, yeah, it's that left brain, right brain thing,
Yep.
and that's a way to engage
Yep.
both sides.
And
For
I
sure.
know I had lots of people just blown away that my fourth pattern ever was a garment, and I graded it to 10 sizes.
Wow.
I
Wow.
went
How
out
did-
of my
Oh,
way,
oh.
like immediately went out of my way to learn how to grade.
Good for
So
you.
that,
Look
and
at
it was my
that.
very first experience with Microsoft Excel at 33 years old.
Did you want to throw it through a
You
wall?
didn't learn it in school?
No,
Wow.
no, I'm a doctor. I didn't learn that in school.
Well, I
Right.
mean, I didn't know because like that was one of the basic courses when I went to school was Microsoft something, and I was like, oh well, you know what? I was a business degree, so that would be why.
Yeah,
No,
no, so,
yeah,
no, because
no,
I
no,
ran.
I
I
had-
had secretaries that did that.
I had geometric optics and
Yeah.
Yeah, so you
clinical
got a crash
techniques.
course then.
Yeah. So, and it was really, really nice. I'll give another shameless plug. I used Tian Kanaten's grading course.
I love her.
So her grading course, while you do have to pay for it, I also kind of went back and forth with Sister Mountain's grading blog, but Sister Mountain implied that you had a knowledge of how to use Excel.
Yeah.
I did not. Not
Nope.
at all.
That would be a problem for me.
But Tian's course actually went in. It was like a combination of how to grade plus Excel for Dummies.
I like it.
It was so great.
That's
Cool.
amazing.
Yeah, I hope that
Yes,
if
and I
there's
know
any
she's a big proponent for size inclusivity, and so
good deal.
I was able to use the knowledge that I gained from her course and be able to grade my designs to as many sizes as I darn well please.
Right.
We're talking about the one that she has that's like a beyond, what is it, like 40, 48 or 50 inches or something?
Yes.
Is that the course we're talking about? Yes.
Yes.
I've seen it and I haven't taken it yet, but it's
Mhm.
on my wish list of, once I have a little bit of extra funds, that's definitely on my I want to do thing.
So my tech editor will check my grading worksheet just to make sure I didn't make any
And that's a good thing
errors.
because that's what, yeah.
And to make sure that my swatch math translates to
Correct.
Right. How do you feel
that's
about,
good.
while we're talking about this, how do you feel about the way it looks when you grade it out bigger? Are you ever discouraged by that? Or do you think it's like, oh, maybe it looks better on a different style form than a different size? Do you understand what I'm saying? The
not
question?
particularly. I've had a couple like there was one I had to kind of go out of my way to finagle. It's actually a design I'll be releasing here next week.
Cool.
Nice.
So it is a top-down set-in shoulder sleeveless top. And I had to rework some of the larger sizes so that you weren't picking up like 1,000 stitches underneath the armpit.
Right. Definitely.
That
yeah.
is appreciated. For
Definitely.
Sure.
Because
Definitely.
that's just not that
No.
doesn't make sense. And
No.
that
Not
won't
even a
fit
little
well.
bit.
Well, it's just like what Lisa
Wow.
and Tiffany and I have talked about. You can't just take a pattern and just keep making it bigger by increments. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Our bodies aren't fashioned that way. So I just wondered how you felt about your designs that way. Very
Yes.
good.
Now, of
Very
course,
good.
I do have to start with standards.
Yep.
So
Whose standards do you use?
I bounce back and forth and sometimes combine the Craft Yarn Council and Isolda's sizes.
And which one?
Isolda.
Teague.
Okay.
She has a grading worksheet that includes a few additional measurements to CYC.
Nice. I'm gonna have to get that link from you so that we can put that in the show
Happily.
notes and so that I have it because
Yes. She has a free spreadsheet of women's sizing.
love free.
Mhm.
Free is always the best for me.
Free. If it's
Absolutely.
free, it's for me.
All right.
That's right.
So here's
Yeah, so
a
those
funny
have been-
question. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. Those resources have just been invaluable. So
Yes, for sure. I'm glad you found them. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's very important. And I hope all the listeners out there will be able to access the show notes and see all the different links because your journey has been exceedingly helpful for someone who is a novice. Let's use that word.
absolutely, because I am still in that like end of novice stage. So
Yes,
so
yes.
Yeah. That
Well,
I
it doesn't-
just
fledgling
got
stage,
through
like
it.
you
I'm
called
not.
it.
I can still remember how fresh that was.
Right.
And how fresh the frustration is.
Yes.
So speaking
Yes.
of fresh, do you ever knit or crochet anybody else's designs? And if you do or don't, tell us why.
I think this is probably going to be a unique answer from what you guys have gotten.
Let's have
Yes, all the time.
it.
Cool.
Okay.
All the time.
Excellent.
So
And why?
here's why. Number one, since I've only been knitting since 2019, I will actively admit I do not know all the things. I really don't.
Yep.
Um,
I'm proud of you for knowing that and admitting it out loud.
I don't know all the things at all. So one of my patterns is a brioche cowl. That was literally my first brioche.
Holy
Wow.
crap! Look at you.
So
Very
so
cool.
I'm definitely a like learn as I go kind of person, but I love using other people's patterns as, I'll call it, continuing education.
Right.
Yes, that's a good
Very
way to look at
good
it.
way to look at it. Excellent.
It is my knitting continuing education. I'm required to get 40 credits of continuing education every 2 years to keep my optometric license, to keep me
Right.
relevant.
Keep you
And
fresh
keep me
and keep you up to date on what's going on.
So I treat knitting other people's patterns the same way. This is my continuing education. I'm learning
That's
new
a
techniques.
really great.
I'm learning how
really
other people
great
write their
answer.
patterns.
How smart
I'm
are you?
expanding my knowledge in my own field. And sometimes,
Excellent.
even if I'm just find a pattern that I'm like, ooh, pretty. But what if I try it in a different yarn than they intended it to? How cool
Yeah.
would that be?
I like it. And then you can start, because you've started doing the grading and you've started doing all of the designing and everything, you know how to start.
I can modify the swatch. I can modify the stitch count
correct.
if I need to. So
Correct.
I will.
Yeah. And because you're using a different yarn, you know how to modify your gauge and all that. So
Yes.
I love it.
Mhm.
So
That's I think that's been my favorite answer so
I
far,
love
is
that.
continuing education.
I love that.
Mhm.
And also,
That's great.
here's something that's been, for every designer we've spoken to, it's been a different answer each time. So, can you tell us what kinds of things inspire your designs? Where do you get your inspiration from?
Oh my gosh. Well, the barbell headband is pretty obvious.
Right?
I got.
It's adorable.
I pull most of my inspiration just from my everyday life. So my barbell came from my weightlifting passion. There's the running joke. So I do CrossFit. Of course, I cannot not bring it up, because the running joke about CrossFit is, how do you know someone does CrossFit? Because they told you within the first 5 minutes of meeting them.
That. Most people I know that do CrossFit or HIIT are the same way. You like within the first 10 minutes, you know everything about their workout journey.
So
That's funny.
So my little tagline on the headband is, "What's a great way to tell everyone you lift weights without telling them?"
I like it. I like it.
That way you
That
don't have to
works.
tell them. They know.
That's great.
That's exactly right.
So that was an everyday life. My second pattern actually was designed based on my patients' descriptions of their visual auras with their migraines.
Okay.
Is it the light, the expanding light?
The static and the zigzags.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So
Like
I
it.
actually, because I don't get them, so I imagined what they described and turned it into a pattern.
All
For
right.
a pattern of what? Tell me
I'm
what it
jealous
is.
you don't get them.
Yeah.
What's that?
What?
I said I'm jealous that you don't get them, because
Yeah.
I get them just enough
Yep.
that they're annoying.
I used to. I
Yep.
don't
So
anymore.
I have yet to have one. So that was my visual aura cowl.
That's cool.
And other patterns have come from like my mood swing top, which releases next week, was inspired by a tank top I bought 1,000 years ago at a yoga studio.
Okay.
And I really wanted to see it as a knit design, but then I had a way to take it and modify it to make it reversible.
There you go. That works.
All right, I'm gonna have to watch for that one, because I'm always in line for a good tank top. So
Yep.
I'm down for it.
So it is a tank top and a vest.
Ooh. All right, I'm in. Let's go.
So
And this is the one you were talking about with the set-in sleeves, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yes. So really it's just everything.
But it's very
Everything
cool
I
that you.
see.
that you take it from your life and your life experiences. So other designers have told us they take it from light and shapes and architecture and stuff like that. But I don't think we've ever had that answer before.
Also memories.
Oh,
That's a good answer right
So
there.
memories. So my Kokomo shawl,
oh,
which was probably that's probably my biggest seller. So it was designed specifically for my local yarn shop, for box kits originally, and now it's available on Ravelry for everyone. So my Kokomo shawl was designed based on my memory of what I did to beat my winter blues.
Aww.
So when I was in high school, I lived in Spokane, Washington, which would get pretty cold and snowy, and I would get in my car in my summer clothes, and as soon as I get in my car, I take off my big winter coat, I blast the heat, drive around, and blast the Beach Boys.
I love it.
And I would pretend that the weather was better than it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hear that.
And
I
so
love
the Kokomo
it.
shawl, named for the Beach Boys song Kokomo.
Yeah, yeah.
I like
Not
it.
Kokomo, Indiana, huh?
Not Kokomo, Indiana. No.
There's a Kokomo, Indiana.
There
Yes,
is,
there
and
is.
it's not worth visiting, I
No.
promise.
That's why I asked.
Yes.
That's
so that was
hysterical.
inspired by my memory of car singing and dancing with the heat on full blast.
That is so cool. I love it. I absolutely love
That's
it.
a great answer.
I think
love
think
that.
new designers need to get such inspiration from that, or should. Not need. You must. But I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, so memories are a
Inspiration can really be
powerful
found
one
everywhere.
of the more powerful inspirations for me.
Excellent.
I like it.
Okay, Tiffany.
Very cool. So, have you ever felt like designing wasn't worth it? Or maybe you should quit or give up?
Oh,
and how
yeah.
did you combat that?
Oh, yeah.
I love how she's emphatically sitting here shaking her head, nodding her
Yes,
head. Yes. Oh my
absolutely.
God. Yes.
So even right after my first pattern, I hit the publish button. Crickets.
That's yes.
Yeah, that first publish is hard, especially when you don't get a response.
I didn't get any sales. None.
Oh.
And I was so sad.
I can't.
Yeah.
Imagine.
I was so brokenhearted. But then once I got past my sadness, I tried to think about well, let's see if you can figure out why you didn't get any sales.
Right. A very
well,
good
gosh,
reaction.
darn it, you didn't advertise it at all.
We come back to that whole, do you know what you're doing with
you
business
didn't let
thing?
anyone know it existed. You idiot.
Oh.
Of course you had no sales.
I mean, it's that business thing that you may or may not know about.
Yes,
people are just supposed to divine
that's
it.
what began my journey on learning what marketing was and how to market. And even that stuff is still a huge struggle for me because it doesn't come naturally to me.
Well, let me ask you a quick question. Sue was just telling me, and I saw it on your Instagram yesterday. I think you had a live.
Yes.
How are you utilizing those?
So, that was actually my first one.
Really?
Congratulations for being that brave.
Yeah.
Yes, so that was my very first one, and I actually did. I promoted it for a few days before, and I'm probably going to promote them when they happen again. So this is something new I'm starting, and it actually it's an idea I've had in the past, but I decided to pull the trigger on it now because of my stress levels.
Ah, okay.
So
Stress is a thing.
I am calling this Trish's Stish and Bish.
Yes.
I like it.
Little alliteration.
I get it.
Yeah.
So
I love
it
alliteration.
is a live session where I tend to gaslight myself whenever I'm stressed out or have problems by telling myself, you know what,
you could
have it a lot worse.
Yeah. Oh,
just be grateful. Your problems are you have a roof over your head, your air conditioning works, calm down, you're fine. And then I have now convinced myself that my feelings aren't valid.
I've done that.
Not good.
Not good. Than I want to admit.
Yeah.
My feelings are valid. They should be valid, and they should be acknowledged and given presence.
Yes.
Because if you don't give them presence, you can't let it go.
True.
So I created Trish's Stitch and Bish for that. So bring a project, bring your problems. Let's talk about them.
Oh, cool.
And then
That's
at the end,
honest.
I led everyone through a let it go breath work.
Oh, cool.
And I say breath work like it was really fancy. No, I just kind of let everyone through some inhale exhales with some keywords to
kind of like
think
yoga
about
stuff.
inhaling confidence and happiness and exhaling stress
The
and
bad stuff. Yeah.
pushing it away from you.
But you know what, Trish, you're probably answering a question that a lot of people have. You're addressing that issue that so many people are afraid to talk about. And you brought it right out there on Instagram. Good for you, girl.
Yeah.
You go.
Let's talk. Yeah, all right, talk about our problems. I don't care how big or small they are. It could be you lost your job, or it could be you stubbed your toe and man, it really hurt.
Right. Good for you.
And it's funny how even just that toe stub can make like the whole
it could
day
ruin your
seem just
day.
completely
Totally,
awful.
it can totally change your attitude. So that's what we're doing. Like things that we talked about. We talked about my work situation and how that's been absolute hell lately. We acknowledged that. We also talked about terrible heat. I've got a designer friend that's in the UK and they're having a heat wave and she doesn't have AC in her house.
Oh, we don't either.
They have no idea how to handle this.
Yeah, we don't either.
That's that's a problem. I had
Yeah.
another friend who's getting over COVID and we talked about recovering from COVID brain.
Wow.
So
I just think it's
stuff
stupendous.
like that.
I think it's stupendous.
You're amazing for putting that out there. That's
Yeah.
a great thing for our listeners to know about, and if they want to come join
join me on Instagram. I haven't decided if they'll be monthly or bi-weekly, but they're definitely going to be a semi-regular.
Good.
I like it.
Yeah, and we'll definitely have your Instagram handle and everything on the show notes.
Instagram's going to be in the show notes.
Yeah. Super cool.
Yep.
So you mentioned that your release for next week. This is kind of a 2 or 3 part question. So what do you have past that's waiting in the wings? But also, do you have any kind of a plan? Do you have like, I think I want to do 10 designs a year and skip Christmas and Thanksgiving? Or do you have I think I only want to do it in the summer? Or do you have any kind of a thing going on in your head like that?
Well,
and what's next?
So I had a plan. I did.
That sounds like a best of intentions kind of thing.
I had a plan. And then we lost, as of July 1st, we lost that other doctor in my office.
Oh, right.
And so all of my plans have kind of gone out the window until we get another doctor because I just don't have the ability to make the time commitment that it takes to produce designs.
I guess
so.
That's true.
I'm going to be playing it by ear.
Okay.
Going forward. However, I do have actually 3 designs that will be releasing before the end of the year that were already in the wings and already in works.
Yay.
So I at least have something that will at least keep me active that I can promote and advertise and keep talking about as the year goes on. So I have my Mood Swing top, which is a reversible wear anyway tie back tank top vest pattern that releases next week. That is a self-published collaboration with Queen City Yarns. And then my next 2 are third-party published patterns that are coming out. I've got one in the fall and then I've got one in November.
Excellent. So you still
are you able to talk about the third party?
Nope, top secret.
Okay. Boo.
Sorry. She said third party.
Oh no, I respect it, but I was hoping to, be able to plug somebody because it's fun.
Oh, I promise I'll be heavily advertising when I'm allowed to.
Yay.
Good.
Well, I'm glad you still got designs coming out and that you managed to work that far forward.
Yeah.
And
so,
plans
now, and I'm hoping even if this turns into a more long-term situation than I'm thinking, that I might be able to do a low-key self-publish that's really not on any kind of crazy timeline,
right?
Like 12-week testing period or something crazy like that,
right?
But that it just means any goals that I had for how many designs I was going to put out next year are just out the window because I'm just going to have to play it by ear.
Let me just say this, and we've all heard it a different way, but here's how I say it now. You know what? We plan, and the universe laughs at us.
I say I say something to that effect all the time. Someone told me that a long time ago when something didn't go my way, and it was the only thing that made me feel better.
It's true.
Because I
kept crying and saying, like, I made so many plans based on getting this, and I didn't get it.
Right? I hear you. I totally hear you.
I usually say God has a sense of humor, so yeah, I get it.
And
Yeah.
help out our budding designers out there, our listeners who are just tuning in and hearing us for the first time, or some of our listeners who've been with us since episode 0. Do you have any advice for budding designers? Like, how would they go about it? What's the fast and dirty on that?
So, my best advice that I can give any budding designer is don't compare your journey to anybody else's.
Perfect.
That is
That
something
is a hard thing to do.
it's so hard. And that's something I've struggled with a lot, specifically because I don't design full time. And a lot of my friends and acquaintances, they do. And I mean, they're putting out patterns, their social media is super polished.
Right.
They have everything planned out to a T. And that's just not me. That's not me at all. I don't have that kind of time. And
Right.
so I get myself caught up in this spiral of like, man, I wish everything could be like so and so, or I wish I could be like blah de blah. But you really can't. That's not your journey. Your journey is your own, and it's your own for a reason.
Yeah, and that's the truth. And it's hard to remember that other people have been through the steps that you've been through, or they're going through a different version of the steps, and not comparing yourself is
what I think too, Trish. You've talked about a community of knitters, and we've talked about the community that we've created here.
So I'm really glad that you're sharing all these resources with the budding designers. Are there any other specific resources that you want to make sure that they are aware of that are available? Because like you've already put out some really great ones with, Tiana and all of that, but like there are so many resources that people don't know about. So what do you have anything else?
Yes. So here's another shameless plug. One of the other things that I have found extraordinarily helpful is a network of other designers where if you have a question, guarantee someone else has done it or screwed it up before. They've made that mistake already and they can walk you through it.
So, I love that. They've screwed it up before. That's That's a really honest answer.
Well, that's how a lot of designing is. It's a lot of trial and error, and if it doesn't work the first time, you try to get a different way. So I am part of a group called the Design Circle. It was started by Jessica Brist. She's known as
Love her.
She's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful human being. She has brought this group of designers together, and we have a blast. We have a Discord forum where we chit chat all day long about all the things. We keep each other accountable for our goals. We have small groups that we break out with and meet from time to time. And those small groups are really great because usually we just meet to kind of blow off steam and chat about life. And but yeah, it's been, I've been a part of it. I was one of the founding members last September, and it has been the most valuable resource to
Nice. I saw her start that last year, and I was really excited for her to start that journey.
And I've got one more shameless plug.
I was unfortunately not in a place where I could join. So what's the next shameless plug?
Next shameless plug is I have another designer friend, and she's actually she's doing signups right now for her Be Your Own Designer course and learn how to design. Her name is Jill. Her Instagram handle is knit-sisu. So that is knit and then the word sisu, which is SISU. So she is starting an intro to design course, which I really loved as kind of a get my feet wet. It's very, very beginner. It's geared towards someone who's been thinking about design but maybe hasn't found the courage or found all the information to get going. But I thought I did that actually right before I joined the Design Circle, and it was a wonderful jumping off point.
So it's kind of a hold your hand and explanations. This is what it's all about kind of thing. Huh?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
excellent. She takes you from how to find inspiration to how to actually put together the pattern, and she's got a lot of really good resources for shaping and for how the things you need to think about before you put together a design.
So head and heart both feeds both of it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yep.
Excellent. So
Her
one word.
mentorship program, is that what you're talking
Yes,
about?
design mentorship
Okay.
program. Thank you. I
I
couldn't
was
remember
getting
what it was
nosy and
called.
looking while you're talking, and because I
Yes.
want to know what these amazing things are. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm totally looking while you're talking.
So quick
Awesome.
question.
All right.
Do you teach it
Yes.
all?
So I was planning on doing some teaching at my local yard shop, but I was getting the curriculum for all the classes going when all this stuff happened at my work.
So it's on
And
hold.
as of right now, I honestly just don't have the time.
I
Now,
bet.
I have made YouTube tutorials for several of my patterns.
Oh, good. Those are so helpful.
So in a way, that's teaching, and
It is.
Definitely.
It is. It's completely still teaching, and it's
and
still
I've gotten
valid,
really
and, I
good
mean, it's
feedback on.
good. I mean, it's passive teaching, but it's still teaching, so that's all that matters.
Excellent.
And it's available when it's needed, so that's a good thing.
Oh, there's the same one, different one.
He's a fluffy puppy.
Oh, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
Say, Mom, I love you.
Well, sorry, y'all. It's a big fluffy white and tan.
So before we sign off, Trish, do you have any more words of wisdom or excitement or anything to announce or anything going on?
Oh, absolutely. So the Design Circle is working on getting our own publication started.
What
I'm
kind
so
of publication?
excited about this. I can't even begin to tell y'all how excited I am for
It's
this.
called In Tandem. So
excellent.
Here's the coolest thing about this publication is we designed it with we wanted to have a publication where the designers and the publishers were all collaborating together. So when you submit to a third party, they tell you what the call is all about, and you fit their little box.
Right.
That's not that way with In Tandem. We all came up with the mood boards together. We all came up with the themes together.
Oh, that's
we all
great.
came up with the style together. It was completely collaborative from the beginning.
So you're
That
breaking
was
new
really
ground.
Scary because there is a lot that you need for a publication to start, and the biggest thing is funding.
Yes.
Funding is hard.
It's expensive to put together a publication, especially one that you want to print.
Yeah.
So
you're talking to an author here.
Yeah, you know all about that.
I do.
So we ended up putting together a Kickstarter platform for In Tandem, and we got funded, which is so
y'all,
exciting.
Y'all crushed the crap out of it.
Yes,
y'all were amazing.
So
What
exciting,
fun.
And it was really, really. It was so much fun for us to all promote it together, and have so much fun putting it together. I know I'm actually making, so I sew a little bit on the side too. So I'm actually making handmade sewn bags with a custom In Tandem print. And I know part of my thing is I kind of jokingly did a boudoir shoot with one of my bags.
Oh, I like it. Okay,
Perfect.
I gotta see that
because it's just me being me.
I mean, look, but that's the fun part is when it's you being you.
Yeah, I've got it like over my undies, like whoo, Marilyn Monroe.
Love it.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
So we were highly successful on our Kickstarter, and as of right now, we are in the contract phase, the yarn proposal phase. We've got all the design proposals put together. So we have made it to the next phase of the publication. The first edition will release in fall of 2023. So where it's going to be seasonal. So we're going to have fall, winter, spring, and summer.
That's going to be so much fun.
I'm print
so excited
and
for this
ebook
journey for you guys.
It's so much fun. It's so
That's
it's
amazing.
inspiring. It's inspiring. Look at somebody that's been in this biz for a year and a half, and look what you're doing. Amazing.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
I'm still flabbergasted at how far I've come in a very, very short amount of time.
Wow.
It's amazing what your passion can lead you to.
Yep.
Very much so. I would never have thought that this was going to be what I'm up to.
Hey, you know what? It's fun to see where the journey goes, even with the setbacks and the valleys and whatever. The actual journey as a whole is a lot of fun, and I'm super excited to watch and see where you go. So, and that's funny because you're talking about in tandem. So now, Denise, you're not the only one with the connection, is because I've got 2 girlfriends that are in the in tandem group too.
It's a small world, girlie.
I will tell you, I get it all the time. So remember that the world, it really is a small world thing.
It
really is a small world.
And especially in the knitting community, everybody knows somebody that knows somebody.
It really, it's so funny how
I ended up connecting with a tester, came to test one of my designs because an acquaintance of mine from high school is friends with her, and she saw what I was up to and recommended me to her
so cool.
as a designer. Yeah, so it's crazy.
Yeah, you never know what's going to be out there that comes across like that. It's so cool when it happens. So yeah,
it really is a small world.
Yep.
All right, so last question, and it's the standard one of where can the listeners find you? And yes, y'all, it will be in the show notes, but I still want her to plug herself.
All right, so the place I'm most active would be Instagram. So you can find me at Fiber Optics Knits. Remember, it is Fiber Optics with a PH, and it is all one word on Instagram.
Okay.
Facebook.
And then you got anything else?
Yep, I'm on Facebook. It's the same way. Fiber Optics Knits. I am on Ravelry as Fiber Optics Knits. And do you have any non-Rav options for our listeners out there? I'm on PayHip.
Yay, PayHip! That's a good one.
Lisa will like that.
That's a good one.
Yep.
Yes, I'm on PayHip as well, and as Fiber Optics Knits. I thought using the same name across all the platforms would make me easy to find.
Yep, that's what I do.
You know, it makes it easy, and it sticks with the branding, so you got that one off the hook.
Yep.
Yes, so those are the places to find me.
Excellent.
I like it.
Well, Trish, you have been a joy and a delight.
This has been a beautiful hour and a very fun hour. So thank you for coming to spend time with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I've had a great time as well.
I'm looking forward to seeing
y'all,
your next.
This has not been our typical crazy train ride. It was actually a very peaceful, enjoyable ride. So.
Yes, even though I had a big dragon slayer before this started. No.
I mean, look,
a couple dog interruptions, but
yeah, right.
Well, I hope y'all check out Trish and all of her insanity and all of her fun that's coming. I browsed through her IG a little while ago before we started, and she's got some good stuff up. So y'all go check it out. Yeah. I can't wait for that vest. Like, that vest is going to be a thing. And
I'm super excited to put together. I'm not big into reels, but I do have a reel idea to show off the different ways you can wear it.
Oh, cool.
I like it. I'm
looking forward to seeing it. So. Yeah, very much.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
All right, y'all. This concludes this edition of the Crazy Train Ride. You may now unfasten your seatbelts. The captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. And go hit the show notes to grab all of the amazing resource links that Trish shared with you today. Between her stuff and all of the design resources. My goodness, you talked about reels and now the words in my mouth. So may you ladies have a wonderful evening. And I think my husband said something about pizza for dinner.
Yum. Okay. We'll catch you later, Trish. We're going to keep our eye on you. Thanks a lot.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye.
Y'all have a good night.
Mm-hmm.
Come back next time when Denise and Tiffany discuss Tool Talk 2.0. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you listen, and join the conversation in our Ravelry or Facebook groups. For show notes or knit tech editing and related services, please visit my website at arcticedits.com. To inquire about crochet tech editing and other services Tiffany provides, please go to wootcrafts.com.